If your life was a Netflix documentary, what do you think the name of that documentary would be?
My prison gap year.
Who is Pratik Doshi?
I'm the COO at Breakthrough Social Enterprise.
Pratik's story isn't just about redemption, it's about building something bigger than himself. Today, he's the COO of Breakthrough, a social enterprise helping underserved communities access tech skills of tomorrow. But how did he really get here? Let's rewind.
Okay, so now you're out of prison. How was reintegrating back into society for you?
Time in prison was a silver lining. I wanted to be a plumber when I came out because I was like, they make money, right?
Yeah, they do. They actually make really good money.
Yeah. When people think about making money, they've got it all wrong because of the word making. They feel like they have to take from something to make money, when really and truly, it's just about giving. And whenever I'm in a low point, I try to get the small wins. The smallest thing, even if it's like making your bed, brushing your teeth, I'm reinforcing to myself that I'm not actually a dickhead, that I'm actually have integrity in myself and keep my word.
I got an email today. The email said, kill yourself.
Jesus Christ.
Hi neighbors, welcome back to Stories Next Door. I'm your host, JEICY Joyce. Today's guest has a story that will make you rethink second chances, redemption, and the power of transformation. My guest was once a university student with a bright future ahead of him until one decision changed the course of his life. In 2017, he and his best mate, Sobanan, who I recently interviewed, were sent to prison for dealing cannabis. But this wasn't the end of his story. It was just the beginning of a new chapter. Fast forward, today he is the COO of Breakthrough, an organization dedicated to helping ex-offenders rebuild their lives. Pratik, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I had Sobanan, your best mate, last week, and we had an amazing conversation. And we spoke about how prison life was, because we know in 2017, you were arrested and then sent to prison. Was it for 1 year or 2 years?
I was sentenced to 2 years. I served just under a year.
Yeah. Were you in the same prison as Sobanan?
Yeah. We were cellmates for like 60% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if your life was a Netflix documentary, what do you think the name of that documentary would be?
My prison gap year.
Oh, okay. So Sobanan did tell us that you guys are writing a book.
Yeah.
And that was the name?
The name of it, yeah. So watch out for it, yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So can you tell us a bit about what the book is going to be about?
I guess our perspective on that whole journey from the police arrest to the time in court to the time in prison, and also because we had the idea of writing it whilst we were in prison, we were just going to do it for that period of time. But now the work we do, the story kind of continues from that. So there'll be an extract at the end as well. So I guess just the behind the scenes of that whole journey. And I guess the reason why we came up with that name was
It's a very cool name.
yeah, thank you. Just to showcase that it was a blimp in our life rather than a defining feature. And I remember whilst being in there, the little old me, I'd go with my pen and notepad and get other people's stories, go into their cell and like a little journalist. So all of the things that we experienced will be in that book.
Yeah, we cannot wait for when is that dropping?
I have no idea, but we're very
Sometime
soon.
this year.
Yeah, definitely this year. Definitely this year. Let me not make promises, but definitely soon, definitely this year. We're actually working on it over the next couple of weeks to finalize it all.
Fantastic. So who is Pratik Doshi?
Who is Prateik Doshi? Right, and that's. I guess we'll start off with work, right? Because that's I guess the thing that people might subconsciously be concerned about. But I don't like titles, but I'm the COO at Breakthrough Social Enterprise.
Yeah. No big names, please.
Yeah.
Say it.
Yeah.
The Chief Operating Officer.
Yeah. At Breakthrough Social Enterprise. Outside of that, I'm a human. I'm a son. I'm a friend. You know, I'm really that I like that question because as part of the programs that we deliver, we do identity workshops. So we always ask like, who are you? And then I always get people to like extrapolate who you are. I'm Indian. I'm 29. I'm from here. But like extrapolate that.
Yeah.
So that question threw me off guard. I was like, how am I going to answer this? But
So who was Pratik before that arrest in 2017?
So I guess I'll try to describe it in 3 words. So I'd say naive, impulsive, somewhat ungrateful, but energized. 4 words.
Yeah. Why ungrateful?
because I clearly wasn't grateful for the opportunities I had at the time, and decided to use my time at university to sell drugs rather than something a little bit more productive.
And how did you get into that world?
I guess when you're growing up in London, it's not abnormal to think that that's a normal thing to make money, because of the outside of my family culture, the culture that I essentially grew up in, things like violence, crime, and all of that is heralded when you're at school and growing up at that age. And it just didn't seem abnormal trying out different business ideas at the time whilst I was at university, just generally to bring money in. And that's the one that seemed to have the most success.
I always talk about that everything happens for a reason. So whatever anyone goes through at a particular time, there's always a reason for that. So when you look back right now, because that changed the course of your life, you were starting to be an accountant.
Yeah.
And then here you are now, you're the chief operating officer for Breakthrough, which is a social enterprise for, tell us a bit, what is it about?
So Breakthrough Social Enterprises, we're a social enterprise. We educate underserved communities in innovative technologies, but the courses and the education we provide is more than just teaching you AI skills. It's a holistic approach. We'll teach you about, like I said, the identity stuff, personal development, life skills. So it's more than just tech and AI skills education. We work with corporates, help them with their social value. We do a number of things.
So going back to that bad idea that changed your life, do you think it was a bad idea at that particular time?
Not at all. I thought it was the greatest idea. I thought I'd be a qualified accountant with that going on.
Yeah.
So that was my young, naive, impulsive way of thinking. But no, not at all.
So going back, would you change anything?
I guess, look, so like my ego tells me no, because I'm fine and I got through it and stuff like that. But I guess obviously I would, right? But it's made me who I am today. Outside of, I guess, let's use the colloquial term in criminal justice system, the offending behavior, yeah? Putting that to the side, whether or not I would have changed that. I would have changed things. I would have taken care of my health more. I would have managed my money better. I would have strengthened the relationship with my parents. I guess I would have beat it to the sound of my own drum a lot more. I was doing things for like the approval for other people. So those are the things that I would change. And perhaps that would have positively impacted in me changing the fact that I was selling drugs, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Rather than me just saying I wouldn't sell drugs. No, it's deeper than that. There's other like cognitive drivers that led to that.
But was it solely just because of making money?
I mean, no, because I like on the face of it, but I genuinely feel like upon reflection over the years, there was probably some sort of identity crisis going on in my head as well, if that makes sense. So I'm not fitting in anywhere, not really feeling like I'm thriving at something. And then I'm doing this and I'm like, obviously I wasn't the best because I got caught, but I was good at it, right? And I was getting like a status high that I never would get before, authority, power, all of these things. So obviously money is a massive driver. However, there were other things underneath that contributed to it. And I'd obviously smoke and I lived a different lifestyle, a very impulsive, like party-driven lifestyle that impacted that too.
So just take us back to the moment where you got caught.
Okay.
You are arrested. What was going through your mind at that particular moment?
So like if I track back, it was January 2017, in Sobernan fashion, over the Christmas holiday, he was like, oh, we really need to, what's the word? Take advantage of our youth and the time we have. And we've been partying a lot. Let's actually like crack on with life properly. And that's the role he always has played in our friendship group, right? So he was like, let's start going gym. Let's start doing this. Make sure we do 2 hours of work outside of everything to improve. Because that's the formula that he had to succeed academically, like 2 hours of work every day from like 7 to 17. And it clearly worked. So I remember that day, it was like the first day I was like, cool, I'm going to go to the gym. It's a new year, blah, blah, blah. Upon leaving the gym, I get a phone call to say, oh, there's police at your door. I was like, okay, cool. So my first thought was like, I could just run. I could just go, right?
I would think the same thing. Like, let me just ditch.
Yeah. But I realized that, okay, I'm the one who brought it into the house. My other housemates were studying economics, biochemistry, Sobernan was studying to be a doctor. They didn't come to university for that. I brought it to the house. So I was like, cool, let me just go home and face it, sort of thing. So as soon as I walked in the door, they're like, Prateik Doshi. I was like, yes. And obviously there was worry and all of this stuff, but part of me was thinking the jig's up. You probably knew this was going to happen. Don't have any negative or sad feelings, just face it. And that was kind of the demeanor, the vibe and the thought process whilst I was getting arrested. So yeah, and just kind of sussing the situation out, like whilst I was there, with like, how serious did the police deem it? What did they find? How everyone else was feeling. I always thought I'll get through it. I asked for this sort of thing.
So Sobernan told us that he did not inform his parents.
No, I didn't either until like the night before.
Okay, so you guys were just holding each other throughout those
Like 2
3
years.
years of trial.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was more scared of my mum than I was the police. Like, you know, like African and Indian parenting is probably similar, right?
Yeah, but I'll probably be more scared of her too.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, I didn't want to stress them out. And I also I knew what would have happened. If I told them, boom, okay, cool, you're coming back to London, blah, I would have lost my freedom for those 2 years before losing my freedom. And obviously with good intentions, I don't know how I'd react if that happened to God forbid, my future children. But yeah, didn't tell them.
So how did they find out?
So his parents found out because they read a newspaper article. They were on their way back from the airport, calling me, asking me, where is Sobernan? He got remanded the day before. So at this point, he was in prison. I just kept stalling. They were calling multiple times over like a 3 to 5 hour period. One of the calls, his dad was like, look, I've read the newspaper article. I know what's up. You probably should tell your parents because they can come with us to court because we're coming tomorrow. And it'll be better coming from them than from us. I waited till like 2 a.m. to tell my mum. I was hyperventilating, thinking, shit, I got to tell her. She had all her sisters round from India for the first time in like 10 years as guests. So I called her. And because of that, because there was so many family in the house, she obviously kept it quiet and reacted well because, you know, like the family mustn't know and shame and all this bullshit, yeah? Can I swear?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, cool. So then, yeah, I told her and she was like, I kind of knew it. Like, I kind of knew what you were up to because for various other reasons. She reacted fine and sent my dad to court the next morning with Sobenan's parents, which was super awkward, but that's how they found out, yeah.
Yes. So, okay, so then you're arrested, you go through trial, now you're in prison. How was that first day in prison for you?
It was weird because, like, I got out of the bus, me and Sobenan were in the holding cell, he went first. They gave me a container of food and then I tasted it. It was disgusting. It was like some curry and someone was like, eat that, mate, because you're not getting food for 24 hours. Like, you're not getting a proper meal. So I ate it and I was obviously scared, right? Like, even when we got walked to our cell, people were already locked up, but the sheer noise was a new thing to me.
As in people shouting?
People shouting, banging on the door. And all I could hear was Scouse accents. And I was like, oh, because I know I've heard, like, from, I guess, from dealing, I've heard and indirectly, like, not interacted with Scousers, but know of them. And in the prison environment, I knew of them as well from before. And the sentiment is that they're pretty dangerous. So I was just thinking, what the hell's going on? So I walked into the cell and I kind of hid behind the toilet and I didn't know what was going on. I don't know if people were going to get let out. I don't know if they were shouting at me. So then I was like, what are you doing? And I was like, bro, are they shouting at me? They're like, no, man, it's just noise. Get used to it. And I was like, I don't think no one even noticed you, to be honest. So as soon as he said that, the fear went. Obviously, there was elements of fear throughout in certain situations, but the overarching fearful vibe in my mind and body went. And then after that, it was just like me and him kind of sitting top bunk, bottom bunk and thinking, how the did we end up here? Like, what the fuck is going on? And at least we're together and just trying to fall asleep. If that makes sense, just trying to sleep. But because I didn't sleep the night before, because obviously I was going to prison, I fell asleep quite easily.
Sobernan being there with you, did that impact your friendship in any way?
So apart from like really intense moments of that anyone would probably have of sharing a cell with someone where you're literally going to the toilet, eating, sleeping, and the cell was so small that not both of us could stand at the same time.
Were you together throughout the...
They were like, we got split up a few times. So it impacted our friendship. It made us stronger generally, firstly. But those intense moments were probably more intense because we knew we could air out our frustrations with each other because we knew each other rather than a stranger. But overall, it definitely made us stronger.
What I know about prison is what I see on like TV, documentaries and like series. Is that the reality of prison?
I know what you see.
So let's talk about CSI, for instance, like
Okay.
the CSI shows. If you've ever seen
Probably
them.
when I was a kid, yeah.
Yeah,
I
like-
don't remember, to be honest, but yeah.
So there's a culture of, there's gangs in prison. There's people who you have to pay them to protect you. Is that the reality of it?
For some people, yeah, definitely. There's loads of violence, people being failed by the system, loads of people with mental health, loads of drug use. People say it's like a party. I wouldn't go that far. I guess it's just people trying to escape, not even have fun, because it's not fun. It's escapism during a difficult time, corruption. So I feel like, okay, if you want to get a real sense of what British prison is like, watch the BBC show Time. Like even the noises, right, in the background, the FX, the sound effects, is so accurate. So that will give you the most accurate portrayal of it.
I'm just trying to think, prison life. So during that time when you were in prison, when I spoke to Sobadan, he said that for him, that time, it's like his life changed, but like for the better. Was it the same for you?
In hindsight, yes. But I had went through some stuff after prison that really had to embed for me to realize that the time in prison was a silver lining, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So at the time, I probably didn't see it. I was just trying to get through it. But upon reflection, yeah, of course. Because I probably would have got in trouble anyway if I had carried on. So
After prison?
No, before, if I didn't get arrested. Or if I beat the case or something, I would have carried on. And that's what people in jail were telling me, like older people who, let's say they're higher up on the food chain in the drug dealing world, they'll be like, you guys are kind of lucky, because I'm 32, I've just got a 15-year sentence and my wife has left me. And he's like, you guys are still in your early 20s and you can rebuild it. And the way they say that I moved, I guess, that I was on a high trajectory to climb up the ladder, say.
Yeah.
And they were, I guess, above me, and they were saying, no, it's good that you got arrested. So advice like that did make me definitely feel like at the time, cool, this is actually a good thing. But I didn't realize it until a few years after.
Okay, so now you're out of prison, okay? You get back into society. How was reintegrating back into society for you?
It's difficult, right? Because the way society sees you, you have to start off again. That age, a lot of my friends are graduating. It was weird, but I have to be really humble to realize that without my parents and without probably Sobanan, it would have been near to impossible to get to where I got to. Yes, I have to give myself some credit, but the structure provided by my support network made it a lot easier. But it is difficult because people feel directionless, people feel lost, people don't know what to do. There's loads of pain and trauma, but and it was difficult, but I guess I was really lucky to have the support network that I did.
So you get out of prison, finding work. When I spoke to Sobanan, finding work was very difficult.
Yeah.
You experienced the same thing?
Yeah. And literally going for any job I can, from curries to working in random sales jobs. What else did I do? I think it was loads of like agency work, like retail agency work, working multiple jobs at a time, literally getting anything I can to get money in, essentially.
Yeah. And currently you work for Breakthrough, right? And the organization itself helps ex-offenders rebuild back in society. So you experience negativity when you walked into work. So how do you help them with that when they get back into society?
So like historically, Breakthrough only helped people from the criminal justice system. And then I guess when we kind of took over, we realized that how we're changing their curriculum can benefit more than just people who are either in prison or who have left prison. So we've broadened the scope. We call it underserved communities. People are underrepresented in certain spaces, women, refugees, at-risk young people, career changers. So it's a broader group of people that we help. And how we do it is through education. Through education, community building, we have various educational programs, online, hybrid, in person, where we teach everything from how to succeed in a digital economy to prompt engineering and AI and how to AI ethics, all the way to soft skills like lifelong learning is the secret to success. And it's a 12-week program currently, and there are going to be different forms of that program digitally and through other formats, but essentially through education, teaching people about innovative tech and building a community.
And how does someone apply for a place in
Go on our website, and then there's a skills bootcamp page, and there's a form. You just fill it in, and then someone should be in touch.
How did you get to work for Breakthrough?
At the end of mid 2022, I left a startup because it essentially dissolved.
Yeah. Did you found a startup?
No. I was just like working as a head of department. I didn't found it. And then there was an accelerator called Year Here that teaches people to solve social issues in London through innovation and entrepreneurship. Sobanan had also gone there, and the founder of Breakthrough actually like birthed Breakthrough from that accelerator program a few years prior. Sobanan had a good relationship with her. He would like consult with her. She was his mentor. So obviously through that, I learned about what they do. I loved what they did. At that time, they were just helping prisoners and prison leavers. So I would volunteer. Like I would deliver financial literacy sessions, project management sessions, business acumen sessions. There was a few weeks where I was probably volunteering more than their staff. Like I was delivering like 3 days worth of work. Through conversations, I wanted to help more and more, and so did Sobanan. There was a change in leadership happening at the organization at the time, and then Sobanan got offered to be the CEO, and then what followed was me working in operations and then working my way up to where I am now. So I guess it's a mix of me giving for the sake of giving for a year and volunteering, combined with relationship building, combined with me showing that I'm entrepreneurial, and a pinch of luck, let's say.
I think luck also plays a big role in things like this. But it's the fact that you also volunteered for quite a long time. So they saw your intention. They see what you bring to the table. And, you know, when it came to giving you a permanent position, I get that was a no-brainer for them.
Yeah, and like we teach this in our financial literacy course, that when people think about making money, they've got it all wrong because of the word making. They feel like they have to take from something to make money, when really and truly it's just about giving. And that sounds so counterintuitive, because how can you give to take money? But it's about what value you can provide, what problems you can solve, and what skill sets do you have to solve those problems and to provide that value. And if people just think, let me just give and provide value without expectation, to a degree, you don't want to get taken advantage of. But I feel like people's gut feelings can help them navigate that. Giving always comes back, if that makes sense, without sounding so woo bullshit. But like, it is true, especially if it's strategic. So I think that's what definitely helped.
So in university, you were studying to be an accountant.
Yes.
You didn't want to go back to university and finish that course?
My mum wanted me to, but there was no point. Like with a criminal record, getting into the ICAEW, I probably could have gotten through. It would have been an uphill battle, and I wouldn't have been able to be at the top of my profession, because I would have been competing with Russell Group University grads who had no criminal record. So I thought, what is the point? And the main reason I was doing it was to impress my parents. I did terrible at my A-levels, and I thought they're both accountants. How can I go wrong if I'm following in their footsteps? Mm-hmm. I wanted to be a plumber when I came out, because I was like, they make money, right?
Yeah, they do. They actually make really good money.
Yeah. And now I'm like, there might be one of the last industries to get replaced by robotics and AI, because it's so intricate. But my mum was like, I did not come to this country for you to work a blue collar job. And I was like, listen, they earn more money than you.
They do.
Yeah. I was like, yeah. But so accounting was not on my radar at all.
Yeah, I had the same problem with my parents growing up. It's like, you either an engineer, you're a doctor, or you're a lawyer.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're not going to do that. So what is the biggest challenge that ex-offenders face when trying to integrate back into society?
Stigma, lack of second chances, and no real like understanding of the issues that they're going through, because it's not one size fits all. You have completely different people. You have people that unfortunately grew up with their parents as drug addicts or criminals, so their support needs are far higher. Whereas you have some people who may not have, they had a support network and involved parents, but like other reasons, such as what I outlaid in the beginning, caused them to commit crime. There's so many different intersectional reasons as to why people commit crime, and I feel like that isn't properly addressed. So yeah, and it's basic things like housing, income, mental health. There's so much that is missing, and the system tries, the government tries. HMPPS have this lived experience thing where they have lived experience leads that work in criminal justice, and the system's evolving, but there is still a bit missing. Like one guy at an event said, think about Billy on B-Wing, like that, and what that means is like that, the standard stereotypical example of a person who's been left behind due to many things, and they're just suffering due to this. So I don't know if that answers it, but there are many things that come as a struggle for people leaving. Like I said, like the stigma, lack of infrastructure in their life, lack of hope, mental health needs. There's so much.
When someone is in prison, do they have opportunities like, I don't know, do they have access to libraries? Do they have access to, let's say, people coming in, teaching them, okay, so when you get out, this is what's going to happen, like how to integrate back into society? Are these programs run?
Yeah. You can do a university degree in prison. You have access to libraries. There's programs. There's like resettlement programs. But I think it's communicating that to the prisoners and stuff like that, where the issue is, and like changing the culture amongst the men and women that are in there to educate themselves and things like that. Things are there. Historically, prisons are known for pushing people into like tradesman stuff, like become a bricklayer and stuff like that. And that usually switches people off because people may not want to do that. But there are definitely things there if you're able to utilize it. It's about using your time, not spending your time. It can be a beautiful thing if the foundation of your life isn't super unstable. Like your family are taken care of outside, your health and your mental health is okay, you're not in any physical danger whilst you're in the prison, your cellmate's not annoying. If all of those boxes are ticked, you can actually use the time quite wisely and re-educate yourself. So there is access to those opportunities. They're definitely not perfect, and there's loads of issues in between, but those things are there.
Yeah. Your life was changed, but for the better. Okay, well, it is for the better now. What would you advise someone who is going through the lowest point in their life right now, and they look outside and they're like, I can't even see any light at the end of the tunnel?
Show yourself self-love. I've probably said this on so many other the forums that when I talk about self-love, people think it's some woo-woo pansy stuff, like, oh, cuddle yourself. Like, I don't think that's it, because the truest form of love is truth, if that makes sense, in my eyes anyway, like the truest form of it. So if you love yourself properly, you'd have the ability to be honest with yourself. And sometimes that is, or that would involve forgiving yourself for your mistakes that have led to you in that low point in your life. However, if you don't have that self-love, that gratitude, it's impossible to get out of it, right? Because in any situation you're in, arguably it could always be worse. And I feel like that's a very underrated solution to when people are at a low point, is to be grateful and show yourself love. And I know it's the cliched answer, but I feel like cliches are there for a reason, because it's super powerful to just change your perspective and think, okay, cool, this is where I'm at. This is why I don't like myself for getting myself where I'm at. However, let me be compassionate with myself and talk to myself the same way I would a younger sibling or someone younger to me that I have loads of love for. You wouldn't be rude to them the same way we are during low points. Like, oh, I'm a dickhead, I'm this, I'm that. You wouldn't say to them, oh yeah, you're a dickhead for doing this. No, you'd show them love. Do that to yourself.
And where where do you harness that from? Is it the friendships that you have? Is it through a higher power? If you're a believer, where do you get that from?
That's a good question. Where do I get
Or is
that
it
from?
just
Let's think.
yourself?
I guess, do you know what it is? That I've gone through so many low points that through all of that, I kind of know to do that, if it makes sense. And that piece of advice where I say, if someone around me is going through a low point, I'm going to show them love. So why wouldn't I show myself love? Some people have a higher power. Some people have methods like writing things down, journaling. Some people have great friendships and support networks. So I guess for me, it's the experience of being in a low point, lucky enough to have friends and family and loved ones to help me out.
Yeah. For me, I have the best friendships. I feel like my friends always just keep me sane a lot, but I'm also a believer. I'm a Christian, so I also believe in God. Like, I got an email today, which I sent myself about a year ago.
That's quite cool.
And wait for the context of the email, because I was in such a low point in my life, and I have no idea why I did that. But the email said, "Kill yourself."
Jesus Christ.
I know. And like looking back right now to where I am, it's the friendships that I have that just made me sane, but also taught me to love myself, right? And not do what I wanted to do at that particular point. So like, sometimes we go through experiences, but there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to,
Yeah. And one other thing, I've had like self-esteem problems a lot in my life, right? And I tried to break that word down. Like, what does it mean? Like, it's your esteem for yourself. So do you hold yourself in high regard or not? And whenever I'm in a low point, I try to get the small wins, make my bed in the morning, do a bit of exercise, whatever. Because then I'm reinforcing to myself that I'm not actually a dickhead, that I'm actually have integrity in myself and keep my word. I'm the only person that I have to live with in my head for the rest of my life. I don't want to lose the respect of that person. And that will allow me to love myself more because I have evidence for it. So keep to your word, even with the small wins, the smallest thing, even if it's like making your bed, brushing your teeth. Good, because perhaps you didn't do that the day before because you're in a low point. Loving yourself and gratitude. I guess those three things.
Yeah. So what is the vision for Breakthrough?
So we have a firm belief that anyone with an internet connection, a willingness to learn, and I guess a good mindset can achieve anything from economic wealth to real personal
Mindset is very important.
Yeah, exactly. And that willingness to learn is to realize that we're in a new phase of the world. Sobnan calls it the Silicocene. Some people call it the fourth industrial revolution. All these innovative technologies are going to change the way we think, we interact with each other, the way we work, the way we earn money. So that willingness to learn is important. And I guess the vision is to ensure that in this massive change that we're going through, that people from underserved communities that usually get left behind, underrepresented groups like women, people from global majorities, working class people, young people, all of these underserved communities don't get left behind when the world changes, which is happening now. And the vision is to be able to do that internationally, right? Without any boundaries, in the UK, in Kenya, in Sri Lanka, in India, wherever it might be, and to be that first port of call for that type of AI skills, education, the community that we're building, and to be, I guess, embedded in culture as Breakthrough is changing the way in which education is delivered, and it's in line with how this brave new world how this world is evolving. And I call it a brave new world because you've got to be brave to be able to thrive in it.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing that you said, serving under served communities, because so I'm from Tanzania, okay, and I know that there's people within the society that are not as privileged, so working with them, showing them what the world is actually capable of, because, sometimes their eyes are closed because what you don't know, right? So that's very beautiful. So looking back, would you consider yourself lucky?
1000%. Even when I came out, if I didn't have my support network, I'd probably be in prison right now. The way I was thinking and operating and moving, I'd probably wouldn't be here.
Was your family your support network?
Family and friends. Family and friends, yeah.
Yeah.
Close family, like my mother and father and a few friends.
So if you did not have that, so just connecting that with Breakthrough, right? So they have the programs, the 12-week programs, 12-week programs, and then what happens next after that 12 weeks program?
You join a community. Some people still get one-to-one support. It is dependent on how people, I guess, engage with us, like their proactivity to engage back with us. And then I guess part of the community is coming to whatever event we have, coming to our office space, obviously by asking permission, different opportunities. Everyone in our team, apart from Soberland and I, have been hired from the cohort. So you're essentially part of a community.
Okay, so it's not just study and go, it's study, but here's the community that will potentially help you if you need the help.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Essentially.
You spoke about Kenya. What are you currently doing in Kenya with Breakthrough?
I think I'm actually not setting it up, so I hope I'm doing it justice, but so I'll keep it short. But it's essentially an AI skills program. And I think it's a little bit more than just AI skills around life development, mindset and things like that, with that being the forefront of it. It's a pilot. We've had interest from that region of people wanting to join our course many a time. So we thought, cool, let's just put some resource behind it, irrespective of it being funded. We'll fund it and then figure out what agencies would want to work with us, because I genuinely believe we'll deliver pivotal results for these people in how they can use these technologies to improve their lives.
Yeah, and is everything AI?
I think so. I think, look, the way we do things at Breakthrough is never just one. Like even in an AI course, we'll end up talking about the philosophy behind it, the ethics behind it, how it intersects with you as in a human-centric way. So although it probably is on the face of it, but there's so much more. That human-centric approach is what we do differently, rather than just being like, this is prompt engineering. No, this is prompt engineering, and it will change the way you think, work, interact. This is how you can use it for yourself, not just through a monetary way to get a job. And this is how it should make you think about where we are as a human race, and imagine all the things you could do if you could harness this technology to improve your life in this way. It's a holistic approach.
Yeah. Will AI steal all our jobs?
Okay, so podcasting, right? We're on a podcast, actually.
Yeah.
If you told someone you were going to do this 15 years ago, what do you think their response would have been?
Hell no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So although there is job displacements, and I urge people to look at the World Economic Forum job report, changed from last year because obviously things are evolving. I guess that and your own research will tell you which jobs are getting displaced and which industries will thrive. But using the podcast example, humans, I guess, are survivors, right? Innately.
Yes.
We'll come up with some sort of new industry, new jobs and things like that. And I feel like the people that have domain knowledge and the ones that have domain knowledge or gain domain knowledge and harness AI to make their work in whatever domain easier will be the ones that don't get replaced. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be all airy-fairy and utopian. It's going to get bad. It will probably get worse before it gets better. But, and what people need to do is just, I guess, educate themselves, develop a good, detached, healthy growth mindset, figure out whatever logistical things they need to do so their foundation of their life is running, and just be brave, because we're all going to have to embrace these changes, because no one really knows how fast things like AGI are going to come, and things where we actually and governments have to start thinking about, okay, universal basic income and all of that stuff. So there is a bright future, and I guess it's part of what we do. Like the AI for Good courses that got released this week is part of the ITU, which is the AI Skills Coalition. That's a whole school of thought to use AI for good, and I do believe in that more utopian future. However, I fear that it could get worse before it gets there, but that's not for everyone. For those who have an internet connection, a willingness to learn, and have a good mindset, you could see yourself on the right side of history. It's just about educating yourself and all the things that I've said. So it will take jobs, not all our jobs, but there will be industries that thrive, and some people will probably industries that get created, but I might be wrong. AGI could come around tomorrow and we could all be like, yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I work in the industry which is very, I'd say, boomer dominated. Okay. And the change of AI is very scary for them. So I sit in meetings and introduce AI features to them, and all they think about is, nah, it's going to come and probably take my job. Okay, I don't want this. I don't want to implement this and stuff like that. So for someone who's thinking like that, okay, what would you tell them?
2 recent people from our last program, boomers, working in industries for more than 2 decades. One was marketing, one was consulting. Their minds were absolutely blown because their mindset was one that's growth orientated and not thinking through a scarcity, like a scarce way that this is going to take from me. Rather, no, this is going to add to me because this is amazing. It's mind blowing. It'll make me more efficient. All these things that we encourage. One of them has landed a new contract because they're an independent consultant. The other one has got a new job. After conversations with them, they credit them learning about AI and being able to understand how it will help them, and they're better placed to understand that because they have the domain knowledge because they're boomers and they've been around for a while, has actually helped their career. So the first piece of advice, try operate from a place that's not fear and not scarce, because where your attention goes is where your energy flows. And then that's what your mind will become an echo chamber for that. And then that will probably be true. You probably will get replaced, right? If I'm being blunt. But if you flip that on its head, I've seen people that are boomers that have domain knowledge, that have a different mindset, a lifelong learning and experimental approach. And they've seen success when they were hopeless, perhaps 3 to 6 months ago. So yeah, change your mindset around it first, see how it can help you, operate from a place of abundance, and then be practical and strategic on how you can actually use it to be more efficient and make your life better rather than being fearful because of uncertainty. And I say this, it's easier said than done, but you just have to be brave and kind of embrace it, you know, and show yourself love that you can do it.
It is disruptive technology, but I think it is, if used in a positive way, it would be for the better. Yeah.
But like this whole thing about them using it in wars is kind of scary.
Hey, yes, that, yeah.
You know? It's like
that
an
is
AI
a
arms race. Yeah. We can. There's 2 schools of thought, right? There's like the dystopian one and the utopian one, and it's like not getting too drawn into both or going down the rabbit hole and just thinking through that lens of how can I learn, improve, and be grateful for the finer things in life if it all goes to shit.
So your story is about resilience, it's about redemption, it's about transformation. You have been through a lot at such a young age.
Yeah.
That is. So for someone who wants to take a lesson out of your chapter of life, what lesson should they take?
Take care of your health. This might be really personal to me because I have struggles with my health, but it can apply to anyone because we're a machine at the end of the day. I see that like that anyway. I don't know if people agree, but if the machine isn't in good nick, you're not going to be able to operate. And I feel like that's my biggest lesson in life, like that I wish I did more consistently over the years, which is just to take care of my health. And I know it might seem a bit random in comparison to all the things that I've gone through, but I know that if I took better care of myself, I would be more clear-headed, I'd operate better, and perhaps I'd make better decisions.
Yeah. And I know you spoke about the day that you got arrested and you're at the gym, then you got a call and you had to go and face it. And you said that you're the one that brought the drugs into the house. Your friends that were also impacted, right? Was there a forgiveness journey that you have to go through, forgiving yourself, but also seeking forgiveness from them?
So like forgiving myself was weirdly easy because it's not like I used the money all for myself or to buy designer clothes. I had like a community family pack mentality. If there was a house of 6 people, they've brought their friends around, I'm paying for food, you know? and I'm making sure everyone's good. Like there were people that really struggled in their course, and they needed maths tuition that's getting paid for. There's people that had lost their clothes on a commute somewhere. They're getting a new wardrobe. So it wasn't difficult for me to ask forgiveness for all of those people, apart from perhaps Sobernan, because he lost his medical degree. But he was very forgiving anyway, so I didn't feel weird about it. I guess mainly forgiving myself was more difficult for a variety of different reasons, from the guilt, from putting my parents through it, the time wasted, any money wasted, not taking care of my health, all of those things. But then what makes it easier is the fact that I'm a better person, a better man, a better human because of it. And yeah, that I guess that grounds me quite well.
Yeah. Like my African parents would have probably sent me to Africa. Like, you're getting out of prison today, you're on the next flight, you're going to Africa.
Jesus,
like,
yeah.
Like, literally, that's what they would do.
It's funny, I was thinking that, I was saying to someone, I was like, imagine I have like a child that I can't manage. I was like, they're gonna go back to India. Obviously, some people say that doesn't work, some people say it does, but that's another thing. My neighbor said it to me. He's like, bro, don't take the piss. He's like, your parents are good, to let you do what you want. Like, they haven't clamped you down, really and truly. They could have kicked you out and all of this stuff. That really shows how much they love me. And yes, I'm an only son. So, yeah, it could have been a lot worse. No,
Okay,
just me.
Just you.
Yeah. So I think that probably helps.
Yeah, no. But how are they now?
The relationship is stronger.
Yes.
So much. They know me for who I am. I feel like they're my friends rather than this weird son-parent dynamic. So the relationship is really good. And I'm way more grateful, and I'm figuring out ways to actually show them love, because, when you grow up in a household like this, like affection, terms of endearment, it's not normal, right?
Not at all.
Like, the first time my mom hugged me, like, in a long time, was when I came out of prison, right? And because of that gratitude, and I've seen, like, you guys are actually always there for me. No one will love me and take care of me the same way you guys do. That gratitude and that strengthening of our relationship through something bad very recently has allowed me to show them love in ways that even they're like, eh? Like, my mom will cringe. Like, right, like, no one's shown you that before. But like, and it helps our relationship.
Yes, yeah.
Because they're like, oh, he might be an idiot, but like, he's a good man, he's a good person, he's well intentioned. And amongst all the bullshit, the shame, all that fun stuff that I don't really subscribe to at all, at least they can have some peace, that they're like, cool, at least good morals have been instilled in him through my behavior of trying to show them love.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Just gonna do a quick fire round questions. So, what's the weirdest thing you learned or saw in prison?
Okay. I don't know if I should say this, but here we go. People shove drugs in their rectal cavity. And once in the library, there was like a competition between Scousers. Sorry, Scousers, don't beat me up, yeah? But like, I would go in, and then it's not just Scousers, a lot of people do it. Jesus Christ. Okay. They were like, oh, I can fit this up there, lad. I can fit this much. And I was just like, am I really?
Wow.
Yeah, listening to this conversation. I got a phone up there. I got an ounce of drugs up there. I was thinking, don't give them eye contact fatigue, because like, yeah. So that was the weirdest thing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I learned a lot, but you learn criminal things, like how to hide a phone in your shoe.
Oh wow, well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like cutting it. And
Yeah.
but so yeah, loads of things. But the main thing I learned, that there's loads of wasted talent in there. Loads of untapped potential, and the staff probably go through as much trauma as the residents as well, and that's probably forgotten at times. But the weirdest thing was that, yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, that is a weird thing. Honestly, I didn't even think about that. All right. If you could swap lives with anyone for a day, dead or alive, who would it be?
The Rock.
The Rock Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Why?
I used to love WWE when I was a kid. He's a unit. He doesn't want to be.
Did you
a
think
unit.
it was real?
Yeah.
You thought it was real, okay?
Yeah. And he's an actor, and like, if money wasn't a thing, I'd be an actor. And also, he works in, because I've been reintroduced myself to WWE, because like the wrestlers that I grew up watching are coming back.
Yes, they are.
And the way in which they talk about the industry is they talk about the fact that this is fake. And say someone who I watched growing up, he has the same issues as me. He's gone to prison. He's got other addiction issues, like what other issues that I've had with myself and my identity, and they face the same battles. And I was like, right, I can look up to you guys on a human level. So, and The Rock is also part of the creative team in like WWE. So he writes and curates narratives. So just the work that he does and how he takes care of his health, he might be on steroids, but is something that I would love.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's a good. I love his movies with Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
that was a good
they're
dude.
hilarious.
Yeah. Okay. If you had to describe Sobernan in 3 words, what would that be?
Giving, focused, and if he wants to be unstoppable in a good way.
Yeah. I love your friendship with Sobernan. Honestly,
Yeah,
I
well,
hope that everyone gets to experience that type of friendship.
Yeah, it's like his mum's neighbors thought she had 2 sons.
No,
because I was always at their house,
was
right?
around.
Yeah. And it's hard. I guess it's a good lesson to be able to know that I've able to cultivate a long-term friendship like that, if it makes sense. But yeah, no, it is. It's nice. It's definitely nice, but it's a bit like, even I'm like, wow, we've been friends for 14 years. That is insane.
Yeah, no,
right?
but that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, it's like now he's like your brother. So
Yeah. Quite literally.
Yeah.
Quite literally, yeah.
Okay. What's the best and worst advice you've ever received?
Best advice was shut up and talk less. Take a breath before you talk and reread your work before you submit it.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, the shut up and talk less was from like an old manager, but we had that sort of relationship. And they were just like, look, listen, 90% of a conversation is listening, and you love to talk, so listen more. And I was like, okay. And there was really good advice though, albeit how it was delivered, because the nature of our relationship, it wasn't a thing. I was like, thank you, if anything. Worst advice, when I was younger, really mischievous. Some of that mischief led to trouble with the police. Nothing violent, nothing that serious. Had a social worker within the school that would see me. When I was like 15 or 16, his advice was that you can do what you like, don't get caught.
15 years old.
Yeah, he was like, you can do what you like, just don't get caught. He kept on saying that. And I was like, brother, what are you doing? Now that I think about it, yeah. Definitely the worst advice I got. And one other guy in prison saying that I should probably not pursue education or career and become a drug dealer.
In prison.
Yeah. So a lot of people tried that.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least you didn't follow that.
Yeah. I give you 1 kilo. No, my friend, please don't. No.
No, we're not doing that. Okay, fantastic. So, is there anything that we did not cover that you probably want to talk about?
I can't. I think we covered a lot in a good amount of time.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I can't. And I really enjoyed the conversation, to be honest.
Yes, I did too. Honestly, I learned so much. Your journey is very heartfelt. You know, there's things that you experience that I'm like, wow, okay. But I hope that our neighbors were able to be inspired by the conversation, because there's a lot that you went through, and thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for having me. This was genuinely really good, really fun, nice conversation.
Yeah.
Not focused on the negative or clickbaity bullshit, like real deep intellectual fun conversation. I could talk for hours about anything. If you ever want us back individually, we would both love to.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would actually want you guys together.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
I would. And I'll also have my best friend with me.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would actually be fun.
That would be amazing. Well, neighbors, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, I'm your host, JEICY Joyce. Bye.